right, I'm hanging out with a legend, the legendary Patrick Doyle. Believe me, I've begun watching Bros, right from the age 5, yeah, on TV, NTA, Lagos, and thereafter home videos that later metamorphosed into what is today celebrated as Nollywood. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
It is an honor being with you. I am in the presence of greatness right now. I feel like screaming, man.
You flatter me, but thank you.
I don't flatter you. It's real. It's real. Nice to have you right here, and nice to have you right here on my set for the now. A kind of interim, improvised set, yes, for the now. This was the Saturday show, and like I said, it's a pleasure having you here. So quickly, you are in this project, Idahosa, a very, very popular, well-known man of God right here in Benin City, Doyle State. How was the feeling like when you were contracted, to be part of this project?
If I was contracted for good, let me say then pay me heavy. No, I was what's the word when I was conscripted.
Conscripted.
But I was very glad to be conscripted, and I felt very honored to take part in this movie that's a tribute to one of the greatest icons of the gospel in contemporary age.
Okay. Now, were you directing or were you starring? Which amongst them were you doing?
In this movie, it's more or less like a cameo. I played the part of John Idahosa.
A cameo?
The father of, well, when I say cameo, just one scene. This is the father of Benson Idahosa. He was not a very nice man. He was a man who was very upset that his wife delivered for him a very sickly child in Benson Idahosa. And at some point,
he was sickly initially?
Yes, as a baby he was sickly.
Wow, we never knew that, The
story was that he was so sickly that the father got so upset and told his wife, say, go and dump this child in the refuse heap and make it just die, make it not worry us again. Okay. And she actually obeyed him and went to dump the baby, but the baby refused to die.
He had 9 lives, man.
He had more than 9 lives. Wow. So, but the part I play is the part of John Idahosa, the father of Benson Idahosa, who was quite willing to allow the child Idahosa, Benson Idahosa, die in a refuse dump.
Wow, wow. Now, sir, let's talk about you. I mean, like I said initially, right, you've virtually done it all, man, from what I'm doing right now, broadcasting, which you were even doing some couple of years back on to acting, I mean, stage acting, name it. Let me ask you right here, do you think there's anything else you haven't done in this business that you might just want to do?
Well, I describe myself as a communicator because everything I've done revolves around communicating with an audience. So acting is a form of communication. Writing, producing, directing, as far as I'm concerned, are various aspects of communication. So let's just put it this way, that I am privileged to be able to call myself a communicator and to be able to do it with a measure of competence in practically every area of communication.
Wow, wow, wow. That is so deep, man. Really, really deep, man. It's cool. Now, let's come to the present. I was watching an interview of yours on HIP TV, if I'm not mistaken, where you actually quoted out of context, where you said the whole 30 billion naira in the account or so was not good for the youth, for today's generation here. Oh, it was out of context.
Of course it's...
Because I now read somewhere else that you said it was out of context, though I didn't really go by that anyway.
No. It's not out of context. What does any young man in Nigeria want with 30 billion naira? You don't need 30 billion naira.
But some people say it is not even enough to spend.
Please, that's what I'm saying. What does any young person want with 30 billion naira? If 30 billion naira is not going to build a refinery where 1,000 people will be employed, it's of no use to you. Okay. Is it to buy Moet Chardon? Is it to buy champagne? Yeah. Is it to stuff into the underpants of Instagram slayers? Is that what 30 billion is good for? So slay mama.
Slay mama.
Yes, is it? is good to be put inside the underpants of slave mamas. No, of course, I stand by that. And we have come to see what happens to people who desire 30 billion. They get drunk and they die. They take drugs and they die. So I stand by it. And I think that Nigerian youth should look beyond 30 billion naira and look at how they can be useful to society. Okay,
now, sir, talking about usefulness, with the ongoing right now in the country, right? Hardship, economic crunch, and what have you, rather a bleak future for the young man, right? How do you think the average Nigerian youth can be useful to himself and society at large?
The average Nigerian youth is probably the most innovative and hard-working youth in the world. Other youths in other parts of the world who have the benefit of good precedents, they have the benefit of infrastructure, they have the benefit of a proper educational system. The Nigerian youth has very bad educational system backing him up. The Nigerian youth has many things not going his way. But in spite of that, the Nigerian youth has evolved one of the most viable music industries in Africa. The Nigerian youth has been able to evolve one of the most viable motion picture industries in Africa. The Nigerian youth is making his mark all over the world. There are Nigerians excelling in every sphere of human endeavor. So I don't think Nigerian youth needs to be, I don't think Nigerian youth is waiting for my endorsement or my advice to do what they have to do. They're doing very well without the advice, and I think that they should stay away from the advice of the Nigerian elites, especially the elderly elites. They have not given them a good example, and they have no right to direct them on what to do. They should just watch and pray.
Okay. Now back to movies. Among all the films you've done, is there a favorite?
Right now there is a favorite.
Okay. Which one?
That I produced and directed. That it was called Madam President. I directed. It was co-directed by Stanley Ohikwere and myself, and I produced it. I wrote it, and I think it was an excellent movie. Madam President. It's shown on the Africa Magic channel a few times, and I particularly liked it.
Okay, all right, cool. I thought that would be a very hard question for you. It's like asking who among your kids do you prefer?
Every parent just wants to be a liar. Every parent has a favorite child. Okay. But it is in his best interest to keep it inside himself.
And this was where it went ugly, when I asked him about his ex-wife, Doyle.
Lastly, I want to ask you this, don't be offended, you know the job, you know the drill, yeah? It's what people have been asking and talking about on social media, and it's having to do with you and Doyle.
I want to help you, let me help you. This is the end of the interview, thank you.
Believe me, I never saw